Hey, what's up everybody? So today we're talking about the LG G2, and I think I'm going to review as many LG devices this week as I can. I have a lot of them, so I figured I'd just knock them out in a week. And today we're talking about the LG G2 and how it holds up in 2018. Now this phone actually came out in 2013, and in my eyes this was like the ideal phone for like 15 years when I was like looking at it, because like very small bezels on the front, the buttons are on the back, and I actually like the buttons on the back, I'll be honest. And you had these small bezels, you had a pretty decent size screen, and this phone was actually a daily driver of mine for like almost 2 years, I would say. Maybe it was like a year and a half, but I used it for a long time. Now the back has a 13 megapixel camera and the front has 2.1 megapixel camera, and I'll be honest, if you kept this phone stock, the cameras were amazing on this thing. I did root and custom ROM this phone when I had it. I was running Android 5.1.1 when I last had it. The camera quality on a stock ROM is actually much better than a custom ROM. Even on the custom ROM, it wasn't even that bad, I'll be honest. The screen is full HD, so it's still pretty up to date, I'll be honest. The iPhone 8 Plus has a 1080p screen, and a lot of quote unquote new budget phones also have full HD displays too, so I'm glad they put one here. You know, that's really cool they did that. One thing I don't like about this phone though is it doesn't have a fingerprint sensor, but at this time a lot of phones actually didn't have fingerprint sensors, and the speaker is on the bottom, which kind of sucks, you know, I'll be honest. It does get a little bit loud though, but it's nothing that'll like, you know, like shake the room up or get your mother to come and knock on your door and tell you to, you know, put the volume down or something. Now turning on the screen, we actually have Android 5.1.1 like I said, but this phone, if you custom ROM it, you can get Lineage OS for Android Nougat right now. So it has Android 7.1.1. On stock, I believe the last update it got was Android L. Now performance and everything. Now when I had it on Android 5.1.1, it was blazing. Like it handled every single thing I threw at it. It only has 2 gigs of RAM, which you might think is like nothing, but honestly, for this phone, I'm not sure what happened. Like it just it just handled every single thing I threw at it. And even throwing a custom ROM on it wasn't even that hard to begin with, I'll be honest. I know a lot of phones you have to go through all these little hurdles and stuff, but for this it wasn't that bad. And gaming and everything, you can expect it to be perfectly fine as well. Some games there might be a little glitchiness to it. The only problem is because I have it on Android L, in a couple years this version of Android might be obsolete and apps will stop being supported and stuff, so you're gonna have to update it eventually. There is a problem as to why I can't update it, and I'll explain it in a second. But yeah, even now when I game on it, it's perfectly fine. Now what is good performance if the battery life sucks? Now this phone's battery life is actually very good as well. There's a 3000 mAh battery. Now I have the Verizon unit, and this unit only supports wireless charging, which is really weird if you think about it, because like why don't the other units, there's an AT&T Sprint, I believe there's a T-Mobile one as well, like why don't those versions support it? Only the Verizon supports wireless charging. But yeah, the battery life, I don't really remember too often charging it by the end of the day. It pretty much handled it like whatever I did to it. And now with everything I just said, right, you would imagine like this phone is like the perfect phone, like size wise, everything, small bezels. But the biggest problem this phone has, there's actually 2 main problems. One of them is the Notorious LG boot loop. Basically what happens is at random points there's like some hardware failure or software failure or something, but basically the phone isn't able to boot up into the OS, so it just keeps cycling through the LG logo and it never really goes into the full screen. Now I will say that my phone right now actually has this problem, but I'm still able to access it. I can get into recovery mode and then reboot it into the ROM. I don't know how it works. I don't even get it, but it works for some reason. But it does go through a boot loop every single time. Like every single time it dies and I recharge it, it just cycles through that LG thing until I get into the custom recovery and then reboot it that way. And the second reason I would highly not recommend it in 2018 is the touchscreen problem. And believe it or not, my phone has this problem as well. So my phone has both of these problems, and a lot of people had them, you know, it's not just me. Now maybe you'll get a lemon and maybe none of these problems will happen, but I will say that I'm a little superstitious sometimes, and for some reason it happened on mine. Now you can look on eBay and you can find some for less than probably like $70, $60, somewhere near that ballpark. But like I said, the problem is that something could easily go wrong with it, and it's honestly just not worth your trouble and everything if you have all these things stored on it to randomly use your phone and not be able to function properly. So would I recommend the LG G2 in 2018? I would say no. I mean, it's pretty much like a ticking time bomb. Like you don't know when it's going to stop working. LG kind of needed to fix this problem and they haven't really fixed it. I don't know what's wrong with their phones, but the G3, G4, G5, I'm not sure if the G6 has it, but those phones all had the boot loop problems and it's just so weird. Now, for some reason on my phone, I'm able to like basically go into recovery and reboot it that way. But if you don't have it rooted, I don't know what the case is. I don't know if there's a fix for it. There might be, but I'm just going to save you guys some trouble. Do not get the LG G2. There's a lot of other phones you can actually get, but I would just say the G2 is not worth it in 2018. Now, if you guys have a different opinion or anything like that, like I'm not perfect. I just come up with these things, like, you know, it's just my opinion. Leave it down in the comment section if you guys have a different opinion or something like that. If you guys have any other questions or answers or anything, also leave that in the comment section. I'll be happy to read your questions. I'll read them. I don't know if I'm going to respond to them. I barely have time to even look at them. Leave a like on this video as well. Subscribe to the channel, dude. We're dropping all sorts of bangers this year. I've been saying this last like month and a half, dude. It's just been wild. And it would mean a lot if you subscribe. Check out the links in the description as well. That means so much. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. And hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.